just reek of biscuit breath. Are you happy, dummy? You got your way. You're probably just always happy, right? You're too much of a dummy to do otherwise. Oh, to be a real legit dummy. What bliss that would be. What are you going to do after this? Go piss and shit in public? Fucking dummies. What are we going to do with you dummies? If we let you dummies run things, the world would be a fucking mess. But you don't care. Dummies don't care. Dummies will just mess everything up with a big happy smile on their face. What a fucking world. Maybe I got something in my bag to make you a little less dumb, dummy. Well, you've already ate all the biscuits. I got my obligatory copy kit. I know you'd love that, but it'll probably make you a little dumber. Ooh, my lucky roll of tape. Fixes anything. Even a mouthful of biscuit breath. No, I'm kidding. That would be cruel. What else? Syringes? What the fuck? Oh, yeah. One of my hippy-dippy girls gave me a couple of shroom syringes. Can you believe that? Who does that? Well, should we each take one and go explore the cosmos? She said you get out of it what you put into it. So I'll probably return a genius, and you will die from an overdose of dumb. Oh, fuck. I guess I got nothing for you, dummy. That's rare my bag lets me down like that. At least you got Rita and Tony here, so you won't feel like you're the only dummy around. Tony and I were in the basement recently, going through some old tapes. He had been digging around and found an old recital tape from one of my early competitions. I started bawling like crazy and told him to leave. It was really fucked up, seeing my younger self dancing. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a video of myself doing anything. It was really weird. Like it was a different person. But I guess I was a different person. I don't know. It was sad for me, seeing myself all young and full of life. And so good, too. So talented. I had this one solo on this tape. I remember practicing forever on it and absolutely nailed it. And the crowd went nuts after. It was the most intense tape I've ever watched. I told Tony afterwards that he needed to make a few copies. Near the end of the tape was a duet I did with Britt. I started bawling as soon as I heard the song start. Oh, we were so perfect. Our little outfits. No wonder I loved her so much. Our routine was flawless. We looked like mirror images of each other. Like, I really tried to look closely for a fuck-up, and there just wasn't one. Absolute perfection. The crowd just erupted after. They knew what went down. They could just feel it. They could feel what we had with each other, and all they could do was scream. I can still feel it, all these years later. She was my fucking world. Not this fake best friend shit like Nance, but like real deal, stars align, ride or die, love drunk, complete soulmate kind of shit. We could feel it. We knew it. Watch that fucking duet and tell me we weren't meant to be. Absolute fucking perfection. A couple days later, I'm chilling in my bedroom upstairs, and I look outside, and there's some kid in the garden with Rita. And I'm like, what the fuck is Rita doing alone with some kid? I mean, I know she's like famous in town these days. Everybody loves Rita. She just won't shut the fuck up about it. But like, what the fuck? She never mentioned anything about a kid. What the fuck was going on? Was she like intentionally keeping this from me? But then why was she bringing them over to the garden? They both had bags with them and started heading out the back gate. I wasn't doing anything, so I grabbed my bag and followed them. They made their way down to the indoor pool at the school. Rita talked to the attendant at the counter, and then they both walked into the change room. I quickly made my way over to the attendant, told them I forgot something in the change room, and then went in after them. I could hear the girl talking, and I felt really strange. I followed her voice. There were 3 toilet stalls, and after a quick glance under the doors, I could see Rita in one and the girl talking to her from another. As they started to open their stalls, I jumped into the empty one. I peered through the gap of the door and saw in the mirror that they had changed into swimming gear and were heading to the pool entrance. I looked at the girl's face and I almost shit. It was fucking Brit. I thought I was going fucking nuts. I was pinching and slapping myself in the stall because I figured I must be dreaming or having a psychotic break. What the fuck was going on? I started hyperventilating. I thought I was going to fucking pass out. I heard the pool door shut and I couldn't hear them talking anymore. I could barely stand up. My fucking legs were all wobbly. I was holding myself up with the countertop and the wall and made my way over to the door. I cracked the change room door open and watched as they made their way into the shallow end of the deserted pool. I had to fricking sit on the ground. I couldn't hold myself up. Rita got in the water and Brit followed her in slowly and cautiously. She laughed nervously as she held onto the edge of the pool and slowly walked her way into the water. I started crying. I couldn't stop. Brit stopped when the water reached her chest and watched Rita as she swam around in the deep end. Rita made her way back over to Brit, and they counted down and dipped their heads under the water together. Brit seemed a little reluctant and laughed after she had done it. I laughed too. Rita motioned for her to let go of the edge of the pool, but she refused, and then went back to the shallow steps of the pool. I'm like, yeah, fuck Rita. Rita stopped swimming and started to float in the shallow end, with her arms and legs spread out and her face staring up at the ceiling. She continued to calmly float, her body motionless, and Brit started to laugh as she watched from the steps. Rita remained floating, and eventually Brit got back into the pool and walked slowly towards Rita, looking back over to the edge of the pool and then back at Rita. She moved slowly and continued to laugh as she got closer to Rita. I laughed too. When she was next to Rita, she watched in amazement and laughed as Rita continued to float. Brit made her way over to the edge of the pool, and with one hand holding on, she started attempting to float. Rita stopped floating when she realized Brit was trying to do it herself. She joined Brit at the edge of the pool and placed one hand under her back to support her as she stretched out. Brit was giggling nervously and let go of the edge and attempted to float. Rita moved her supporting hand, and Brit stayed floating for a few seconds before returning to her feet. She screamed and laughed hysterically. Rita cheered, and I cried. Brit kept making attempts, laughed and cheered after every try. Eventually, she was able to float without any support from Rita, and the two of them laid on their backs and floated peacefully in the calm pool. When I saw them getting out of the pool, my legs were still fucked, so I crawled my way back into the stall. They returned to their respective stalls and changed back into their clothes. Britt continued to talk and laugh about how she floated, and Rita laughed along with her. I held my hand over my mouth and nose and just bawled. They left the change room, and I still couldn't stand up. I couldn't do anything. I was like a puddle on the floor. I couldn't believe it was her. It couldn't be her. What the fuck was going on? And where was Rita taking her now? I shot up instantly, charged out of the change room, and asked the attendant where they went, and that they left something behind. I ran out the entrance he pointed at and saw them walking in the distance. I ran after them until I caught up at a safe distance. They had stopped at the corner store. They came out with ice cream cones and continued to walk. They ended up at this sad-ass looking house on the outskirts of town. Some tired-looking lady came to the door, and Britt waved back at Rita as she went inside. Rita was walking back the way they had come, and I hid behind a bush in someone's front yard. As she walked by, I could hear her sniffling and saw her wiping tears from her face. I almost stopped her. I wanted to know what the fuck was going on. I just sat there, behind the bush, and just stared at the house. My heart was just racing. After a while, I saw the front door open again, and the tired lady came out, locked the door, and walked right past me. When she was down the street, I went over to the house and stood at the door. I looked around the street, and there was no one. I couldn't fucking knock. I held my hand up to the door, and it was shaking like crazy. I started hyperventilating again. Like, what the fuck? I turned around and started walking away and stopped myself at the street. I looked around, and there was no one. I turned back to the house and started walking around it. I peeked through the front window, and there was Britt. She was sitting cross-legged on her bed, writing in her cute little diary with her cute little pen. I fucking bawled. Her room was so plain. There was like nothing in it. Her door was shut and had a huge lock on it that only opened from the outside. There was a camera up in the ceiling corner above the door. I fell to the ground. I couldn't fucking breathe. I couldn't fucking think. I couldn't do anything. I just kind of sat there, leaning back against the front of the house. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. I wanted to get up. I couldn't do anything. I just sat there. Like I don't even know how long I was there. I just remember seeing the tired lady come back out of the side of my eye, and I shot up and crawled around the house. She unlocked the door and went back inside. I was fucking manic. All my limbs were numb. I tried to just say something, just make a sound, and I couldn't. It was a fucking nightmare. I got up and I just started walking. If there was a car driving by, I probably would have just walked out in front of it. I wanted to wake up. I wanted this shit to be over. After a while, I was right in front of the old dance studio, and I just lit up. I just instinctually went to the back, to the change room window. Britt and I used to sneak into the studio at night. The window opened and I crawled in. It looked exactly the same, except for a new stereo system. I pulled out our tape, put it in, and I fucking lifted off. I don't think I had ever danced like that in my life. I closed my eyes, and me and Britt were on stage again. It was unbelievable. It felt so real. I hadn't done the duet since that competition, and I knew it by heart. Every move. It was like I had been practicing it all these years. Like how? The song ended, and I just rewound it back and played it again. And again and again. We must have danced it like 100 fucking times. Eventually, I just collapsed in a pool of my own sweat. I looked over, and Britt was right there, just smiling and giggling at me. Oh, I just wanted to reach out and grab her and hold her and never let her go. She is the reason for everything good that has ever happened to me. She is me. She is my all. I don't know where I end and she begins. I don't want to live another day without her. I need her. I can't live without her. It wouldn't make sense to. Nothing makes sense without her. I just want her to know. I just want to tell her. I know, baby. I know. I know what you're thinking, baby. It's okay. I know what it's like being locked up here, baby. I know. I know what you're thinking, baby. You don't have to worry anymore. We have each other, baby. That's all we need, baby. The door shuts, and I start to feel the darkness again. I can feel the darkness up in the ceiling corner, and I try not to look at it. I try to write and look out the window, but I can feel the darkness growing still. I look up to the ceiling corner for a second. The darkness is spread across the ceiling and down the walls. I close my eyes quickly and open them again, and the darkness is spread further. I quickly turn back to the window and laugh, but it's getting harder to breathe. I try to write again, and my hand is too shaky. A tear drops and pools on the page. The ink runs, and I think of the darkness again. I look over to the darkness, and it has covered the whole door and part of the floor. I can't breathe. I get up and look out the window, and it's still light outside. I can feel the darkness spreading over the desk, and I start banging on the window. I can't see anybody. I'm making wheezing sounds because my throat is so tight. I look back at the darkness, and it has spread over the desk, and it's spreading to the chair. I grab the chair, and I start beating the window. The darkness has a bit of the chair, and it's holding the chair back. I grip my teeth and keep slamming the window. I'm not breathing. The window bursts open, and I take a huge breath of air. I look back, and the darkness is spreading over the bed, and I jump out the window. I look back, and the darkness is spreading fast out the window and over the whole house and yard. I turn and start running. I hit the stream and start following it out of town. My heart is beating in my ears, and my lungs are burning. I look back, and the darkness is spread over the whole town. It's spreading up into the sky and over the sun. The sky goes dark, and I'm crying. I keep running. The full moon is out in front of me. I can see the trees of the forest in the distance. I look back, and all is darkness. Tears flow down my face as I follow the stream into the forest. I'm getting very tired now, and I can't keep running for much longer. My heart and lungs can't take it anymore. The forest opens up to a lake, and I can see the reflection of the moon. I stop and look both ways and see no end to the shore. I look back, and the darkness has spread over the whole forest, and I run out into the water. I swim as fast as I can, but I'm just too tired. I'm starting to sink. I'm starting to choke on the water. I stop swimming and lay on my back. I float on the water. I can hear my heart pounding in my ears. The moon is right in front of me. The darkness starts to spread. The moon is gone. The darkness is everything. I close my eyes and cry out, but I can't hear anything. My tears flow and warm the water around me, and I float. My heart is beating slower and slower and slower. My skin starts to flow. My heart beats the water. My float starts to flow. My skin starts to beat. My heart starts to float. I float and float and float, float, floam, flume, boom boom, boom boom, boom boom. Ow. Head. Hurt. Ow head. Ow. Head hurt. Rock. Rock wall. Head hurt rock wall. Rock walk. Walk rock. Ow. Grass. Rock ow grass walk. I rock ow grass rug. My tree. I wall ow grass rug my tree. I walk ow grass rug my tree. Bed. Light. Light. Light walk. I am light walk. I am light. I am light. My light. My light ow my rockhead. My light ow my rockhead. My light. I walk to my light. My light window. I am light window. The light window. I can feel my light window. Ow, that hurt. Look at the light. I thought I went out the window. I thought I went out the window. It's so light in here. And I write it. I write out the light. I write out the light window. I can't believe I thought I went out the window. Did I go to the window? It's so light in here. I thought I went out the window, but I'm right here. It's so light in here. I can't believe how light it is in here. Was it always so light in here? I can't believe it. It's all still here. And it's so bright. I feel like I'm floating in here. And I'm writing it down. I feel like I'm floating in light in here. And I'm writing it all down. I can't believe it. I think I fell out of bed and hit my head or something. I can't believe it. Ouch. It's sort of the touch. How did I get back here, though? It's so light in here. It looks beautiful outside. There's birds flying in and out of the tree. Look at them fly. They can float in the light out there, too. If I put my ear close to the window, I can hear them singing to each other. They can sing right through the window, too. Look at them. Take me with you, birdies. I want to fly and sing with you. You're so pretty floating in the light like that. It's so light out there. It's so light in here, too. Come through the window, birdies. Come float through the window, and we can fly together. I will sing for you, birdies. I have so much light for you. I have so much light.